Okay, so we're continuing our prospect profile series, and we're going to be talking about Caleb Williams today, quarterback out of USC. Very exciting prospect. He's gotten a lot of comparisons to Patrick Mahomes, but we're going to dig in and see how accurate that is, as well as where you should be valuing him in dynasty leagues and where you're taking him in your rookie draft. So, Dalton, you want to talk about his pros?
Yeah, so there's a lot to love with Caleb Williams, right? He has generational pocket presence, really unprecedented level of awareness from him. When he's in the pocket, he's dodging players left and right. He's looking downfield. He's finding the open receiver. Just really fun to watch. Really a creative player. He's got that elite arm strength. He can chuck it far, but he also has the ability to put zip on the ball and make those tight window throws, which is something we really like to see from quarterbacks. I think that's almost more important than long ball ability. Like being able to zip throws in is more important. Gives you more time to process things. So he's really just able to make any of those tight window throws. There's not many throws that he can't make, right? Last thing we're going to talk about in terms of his pros is more of a dynasty related thing, is that he's got great rushing upside. He's not Lamar, he's not Jaden Daniels by any means, but he's similar to like a Mahomes, someone that we can see getting, 400 to 500 rushing yards per year, maybe a couple touchdowns, which is great to have a good floor in your week to week basis. Your average, 2 to 3 fantasy points per game, base floor, as well as adding a good upside. Any given week, he could rush for 50 yards and a touchdown, and that would really, allow you to have that elite ceiling of a week. So, Dakota, how about some cons?
Yeah, so getting into some cons, he's been compared a lot to potentially his predecessor in Chicago, Justin Fields, in terms of holding on to the ball too long, taking sacks, that kind of stuff. I think there is some truth to that. He will play hero ball. I think part of that is because the talent at USC around him wasn't that great, so he will try and make things on his own, as opposed to just taking the check down, throwing the ball away, that kind of thing. If you're a Caleb Williams detractor, the game to point to is Notre Dame, where all went wrong. He threw 3 picks, got sacked a lot, just had a really bad game. Was just trying to force things way too much. So that's something he's going to need to fix in the NFL. The ability to know when to maybe tuck it and run for a few yards, just throw the ball away, take your check down, or really push the ball down the field. And I think he will get that feel. He's a great player, like we've said. He'll be able to figure that out. And that really is his only con, just that hero ball kind of mindset that I think he'll get figured out in the NFL. So now we're going to talk about some landing spots for Williams, and I think there's only one, Dalton.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, the draft is still 2 months away, but we really only see one spot, and that is Chicago. He's not going to fall to pick two, right? So the only chances that someone makes that trade, and we don't believe Chicago will give up that pick for anything. We think they're going to take Caleb Williams, and we'll talk about Caleb Williams as if he's in Chicago, right? So Chicago's a pretty good landing spot for being a first overall pick. You really don't get this level of team almost ever. They already have DJ Moore and they have a decent O line. Like it's not bad. They also have the ninth overall pick, which we could easily see them taking another wide receiver. Maybe Odunze, maybe Neighbors if he falls. We don't think that's going to happen, but it could. Or they could take one in the second round. There's a lot of chances for them to take another wide receiver to give Caleb more weapons. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Ryan Poles, general manager, is not like former Chicago Bears general managers. I think he knows what he's doing, and he's not going to let Williams fall into this dysfunctional mess that other quarterbacks have had. They have a lot of cap space too, so if a potential wide receiver hits the market in free
Mm-hmm.
agency, we've talked about it in previous videos, the type of guys like a Mike Evans, a Michael Pittman, a Calvin Ridley, maybe Brandon Ayuk becomes available in trade. I think they could get one of those guys, and then they do have that ninth overall pick, so they can take a receiver there.
Mm-hmm.
They could get nice picks for Justin Fields, just continuing to invest in Caleb Williams' future. That's going to happen.
They would be silly not to add another weapon around him.
Definitely.
They're going to.
Yeah.
He's going to have a good situation. DJ Moore's a great wide receiver. So let's start looking now at your rookie drafts and what formats we would take him in versus what formats maybe we would let him fall a little bit. So in a 12 team 6 point, what are your thoughts?
12 team, 6 point passing touchdown. Caleb Williams is the 101 now. He's the 101 in April. He's the 101 in June. He's the 101. He's going to be the 101. I don't care like what else happens. Like that format, quarterbacks are so valuable because in a 12 team, you have less starting quarterbacks available to take. And then 6 point passing touchdowns, obviously, passing touchdowns matter more.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Caleb Williams he's such a great talent, and Chicago's going to be such a great landing spot. He's just more valuable than anyone else in that rookie draft. I don't care. Like,
Yeah,
we're taking Caleb Williams at the
I
one.
absolutely agree. In a 12 team 6 point, he is the bona fide pick. But I can see that changing in some other formats. So what about a 10 team 4 point passing touchdown?
10 team, 4 point passing touchdown. Now you're talking about quarterbacks being less scarce, so I would take Marvin Harrison. Also, with the 4 point, not as valuable as six. I'll take Marvin Harrison just because he's such an elite wide receiver prospect in his own right.
Mhm.
If you don't have a Caleb Williams in this draft class, if you put him in like last year's draft class, he probably is the 101 maybe. It's a toss up between him and Bijan. I would take Marv there just because quarterbacks are devalued. That's not a knock on Caleb. It's just the format of your league and
Mhm.
understanding the format of your league and what is more valuable versus what isn't.
So in terms of common leagues, those are like the two polar opposites of value of quarterbacks. But let's go in the middle, right? Let's go to a 12-team 4-point passing touchdown. Now we're getting really tricky. I think this could go either way, depending on maybe Marv's landing spot. What do you think?
Yeah, if Marv goes to the Patriots, I'm taking Caleb
Mm-hmm.
Williams. If Marv falls to the Cardinals, I would definitely think about it. 12 team quarterbacks get more scarce, so that matters a lot. 4 point passing touchdown, touchdowns are still valuable, but not as important as six. I think if you had me make a pick now, I would go Caleb just because it's a 12 team,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really close. I think it depends on landing spot, that kind of thing. But right now, I take Caleb.
I think a lot matters too on your own team. If you have a lot of quarterbacks, can you trade that pick maybe down one to see if you can get Marv there, trade the pick altogether? Or, if you have a lot of quarterbacks and you can't trade the pick, you just take Marv. You know what I mean? Maybe quarterbacks are not valued as much in your league, take Marv that way. Lastly, what about a 10-team 6-point passing touchdown?
These are all really close, and it just speaks to how great these players
Mm-hmm.
are. I would take Caleb. It's just
How convincing
I,
that
I
is.
know it's really close though, and like it depends on the makeup of your team.
Mm-hmm.
If you're weak at quarterback, I think you take Caleb. But if you've got like, maybe like a Joe Burrow and a Tua, I think you take Marvin Harrison because
Mm-hmm.
your quarterback room is kind of set at that point. I would take Marvin Harrison, but it depends on landing spots. It depends on the makeup of your team, I think.
Yeah, I think in that format it comes down to purely do you already have two top 14 quarterbacks? If you do, don't take them. If you don't, I would debate taking them. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe. Check out other videos. They're all great. See you next time.